Live here at Axon Main Forge of Memory, and we just got back late last night from the Forging Festival, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Robbie Bowman's grudge match, the Forged and Fire grudge match. Got to see Jason Knight and a bunch of our other friends and so forth, and yeah, having a good time. But now I got to get my shop going again. I did pick up some neat, fun stuff. And some of that fun stuff, whew, I got from Iron Mountain Metalcraft. Robbie came through here, so that was awesome. That was something we really needed too. So, before we get going, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification button. So, I'm in the process of getting everything sorted here, and that, I guarantee, is going to take a little bit of time. I just want to get these so I can take them in the other room. Like I said, we were at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, so of course, you know, I did bring back a couple items. Have to do some reviews and so forth, but overall, it was a really good show. I had a great time with it. We made more than we did last year, and with the economy coming up and staying consistent on the shows, it's a wonderful thing to see that kind of growth. Now, let's see. I am hoping, and by hoping, I am really hoping that my knives, for the most part, have survived this trip, because you get people picking up blades, and what a lot of people don't understand is there's a part of a knife called a handle. Now, the handle, some people don't understand, is a part of the knife that you pick up and you touch. The blade is not the part that you pick up and touch, yet everyone seems to want to. So a lot of times afterwards, we've got to do some maintenance. We got to do some cleanup. Sometimes things get banged around. We got to do some refurb, some resharpening, and so forth. I am hoping that this is not one of those times, but I'm not going to hold my breath on the matter. Trying to think, maybe it's this one over here. We got a lot of cases and stuff like that I gotta in. Oh. We had to take a pickup truck down this time, and we were packed to the gills inside and out pretty well. It was a good time, and I got on stage for a little bit to do some forging, and really, you know, like I said, I had a great time. Always have a great time at Robbie's grudge match, and looking forward to it next year as well. Now, like I said, I got a lot of these I've got to go through and do some sorting on. I'm getting my Wicked Wax out and my rust eraser just in case I need it. Probably ought to get a paper towel. All right. How's everybody going? Preppy girl, how's it going? Okay, so I am bringing back some of them that I took. Some of them I did not bring back, and like I said, it has been a productive weekend. I'm gonna see if I can get a sheath made for that big Bowie right there, that big D-guard. It took quite a bit of effort to do what we did this weekend, and for everyone who participated, I want to thank them for that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all these knives put away, but I want to show you guys some of the pieces I've got. Once more, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so. We got other videos coming up, and there's a lot that you can already check out. So the Classic American Series 1095 high carbon steel, poured pewter fittings, and dyed and stabilized curly maple handles. We actually may be doing some soon from dyed and stabilized locally sourced cottonwood. And these are nice little EDCs, nice everyday carries, excellent pieces for utilitarian work. And took quite a few down. I didn't bring quite as many back. So that's a positive thing. Now, what I'm hoping is that these will fit in that cowboy sheath. And guess what they do? All right, cool. So, I'm just going to go through here and look at some of the variants I got on these. A lot of these are spear points and drop points. And I used my Wicked Wax on them before we went. And I got to say that it held up pretty good. Now this was more of a Puko style with that more traditional round handle. I made these up in several different configurations so that I would have not only variety, but, well, I mean, essentially for variety, because when it comes down to it, I need to make sure that people with different sized hands, that they're going to have something that fits them. So that works well on my part, and that works well for the consumer as well, because ergonomics is very important when you're designing a knife and when you're using a knife. Now this one, that tip drops quite a bit, and still a very functional and usable design right there. Okay. Almost a trailing point on that one, but a straight back instead of a drop point. Everybody likes something a little bit different on knives, and someone's going to say, hey, are these available? Be sure to message me, and I'll be sure to get back to you. When we got down there, I was like, hey, Robbie, you got any extra sheets? Can I get some sheets from you? And Robbie was great about helping me out on that. Be sure to check out Iron Mountain Metalcraft and Forge Memory Family website. Links in the description. Now, a little wider blade right there, drop point. And I had people come up and they were asking me, hey, which one's your favorite? They're kind of all my favorite. I make these. This is... If it really don't meet the cut, you're not likely to see it out on market. So that's kind of how we do things. We like to make sure that, one, we're producing a quality product, and not only is it something that we're hoping the consumer is going to love and use, but something that we would use ourselves here at Axon Main Forge Memory. Got another little, it's slightly dropped. It's not quite a straight back. Got the slim profile on that one. Works quite nice. Fits the hand well. And some people, they like a slimmer profile. Some people want a more robust profile. And that's where we come in and we go, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to offer both. Why do we need to do that? Well, because everybody's built a little different. It's like with axe throwing. I'm always looking at tuning people in when they're doing throwing, because some people are a little taller, a little shorter. Arm lengths can be different. I really like that one. It's got kind of a half round handle on that. That's a nice piece right there. So these are going to be coming available on a third-party market very soon. I can't say how soon because I've got to look at what my options are, but it's going to be coming up very, very quickly. which means I've got to order more material and get more of these out. I got to get more of these done. So that means more pewter, more 1095, and I'm actually be doing some 1080 on these soon, and more of the, more of that curly maple right there. Check that out. That one's more of a spear point. You know, I did have one person ask me about doing these up as a dagger. And I thought, you know, as a little sleeve dagger or something, I suppose that'd be okay. I do daggers at times, but for the utilitarian aspect of it, I don't do a lot of double-edged, just because I'm primarily a single-edged guy. Now, I do like my double-edged swords in many aspects, in the literal and the figurative aspect. But what I really like are knives that hold up to daily tasks, that lend themselves to daily tasks, daily use, and overall are just great pieces for the consumer. All right. Is it a knife I would carry? Yes. Is it a knife that I think my grandpa would carry? Yeah, I do. Is it a knife my dad would carry? Yes, and he would cut himself with it because he's good at that. We did sell some of my dad's beadwork. We did sell some Jerry Rhodes beadwork down there as well. I like the drop on that drop point. But overall, I gotta say, we had a really good show. Now, if you did not pick up one of these knives on show special, you may be regretting that later. We did have these on show special. We're looking at a reasonable price point on these. And how reasonable? I guess that kind of varies. They're going to be in the $250 range. This one, the dye, it almost turned to a denim blue on that one. Turned out real nice. Guys, once more, I am going to say praise. I'm not getting paid for this, but Wicked Wax right there, that has kept my blades rust-free for the weekend. And it's also made them easy to clean off. Beeswax-based, food grade. Hey, thank you to Wicked Wax. Love those spam calls. Didn't get much of any while we were out of state. I get back home and it's like, hey, let's try to get their information. Now this one's a little more robust. And I do these with a little longer handle so that it can fill your hand properly, because to me, the blade's important, but what is really, really important is being able to keep a good grip on that piece. And that requires a good handle. Now, I did have a few people inquire about why I don't put a guard on these. Why do I do the bolster instead of the guard? Now, guys, I have slid up a blade before and cut myself. I think a lot of us have, whether it's been with a kitchen knife, or maybe we were being a little less than cautious with one of our hunters or something like that. And that can happen. Love that restoration too. But I'll tell you what, I don't do a lot of stabbing with my knives. And really, it's a matter of what do I intend the use of this knife for? This knife is for food prep. It's for camp use. It's for use as an everyday carry knife. If you were going to stab it, you're really going to need to lock your thumb over that butt cap and come in with an ice pick versus coming in with an underhand or from the side. And while they could be used for self-defense, as just about any pointy or edged weapon or tool could be, and therefore synthesized as a weapon, these are really intended to be everyday carry cutlery. I make these to be the knife that you put on with when you pick up your keys, when you pick up your wallet, when you, you know, what do you do in the morning? You put on a pistol, you got your knife that you carry. I can't pull my pistol out because this is live, but I've always got at least one revolver on me. Here's my pocket knife. I'm good for the day. If I need to defend myself or if I'm taking game, something like that, I've got the ability to do so. And that may sound a little redneck to some people, but that's how we live and that's how we do it. Now, this little sticker right here, and that's what it is. This reminds me of a model of Puko that I saw when I was younger in Smoky Mountain Knife Works catalog. And I was like, you know what? I've got a similar blade. I've got a similar design here. It's not a copy by any means, but you know what? It works. It works. It absolutely does work. All right, well, there's all the blue ones. Now let's see what I got next. I think I've got fewer purples than I do greens. So it may be about the same amount. It doesn't seem like I got near as many purples. Trying to see how I'm going to get these set up in the case for display. The greens may actually end up going up on top here. So most likely they will. Yep, okay, cool. All right, once more, if you haven't liked and subscribed, be sure to do so. You can check out some of the videos where I was making these knives, and I'll be making more different models coming up. Here's a nice bullnose drop point right there, and that purple. That we usually call it a wine. Going with that wine color. I guess I probably ought to take some inventory on some sheaths here to see what I got. Okay, here we go. Now, these all, like I said, there's a little bit of variation. There's variation on the grinds. Some of these have that modified Scandi grind. Some are more of a saber grind. They all have a good working edge on them. What is a working edge? A working edge depends on the maker and depends on the knife. So for myself, what I would consider a working edge is going to be an edge that, one, I can probably shave with at least a little bit. I can pop some hairs with that. Because I do want a sharp edge. I want a durable edge. Now that little one right there, that is just awesome. You don't always need a big knife for a big job. Now this one is kind of buried on that modified Scandi. And I had a lot of guys ask me this past weekend, they'd say, hey, what angle do you sharpen those at? I said, well, I don't. Because I sharpen on a wheel. A lot of times I sharpen, I slack. And when I'm doing like a top slack grind for my sharpening, I don't have an angle. It's Appleseed. It's a low convex edge, and that makes for a durable and functional edge on a knife. And some guys just didn't quite get that. They'd be like, well, I've got a Lansky system, I've got et cetera, et cetera. It's like, well, this is what I can tell you on that, you know. Oh, that one's going to work well with that sheath. Classic American. Why is it Classic American? Because when I was making the Classic American series, I thought about it, and I was like, you know, I want this to be what Grandpa carried. I want this to be what his dad carried. What would they look for in a knife? simplicity, utilitarian, a desirable profile. That one, we got more of that Puko type handle. That's what I'm looking for. What do I want that knife to embody? I want that knife to embody the American spirit. Outdoors activities, sporting, recreation, good food, good times, good family. And if your family's not that great, well, that's okay. You can find other people to be family. Some people don't quite get that. Relatives and family, two different things. Check out the spear point on that one. Just an awesome little knife. It's going to work well while you're out bird hunting and afterwards. More importantly, afterwards, when you got to do some meal prep. A meal prep starts with breaking down game. All right, that'll work. Oh, here we go. Now this one was a bit of an experiment, to be totally honest. Now, when I did this one, I brought it in a little further so you can actually see where the blade is exposed there. But it constricted here, just kind of made for a nice little longer bird knife. Just a fine piece right there, really is. Right. It's looking good so far, guys. Let me turn this around once more. If you haven't, be sure to do so. I've got to get more light coming in from the top. Right now I've got everything up there, so it's not as visible. But I'm going to go ahead and move those high carbon spike knives. I'm going to move those over to another case. Where do I get good steel? Okay, Don, good question. Now, it kind of varies. If you're talking about new steel, absolutely brand new, then there's several sources. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that was tilted away. As far as new steel, what I will generally do, one, I do use some recycled steels. When I'm doing my cowboy knives, a lot of times I'll use antique buggy spring. Sometimes I'll use leaf spring or rasps. It just kind of varies. So I will order at times from Admiral Steel in Alsip, Illinois. We're in Central Illinois. They're in Northern. So shipping-wise is reasonable for what it is. I also order from Pop's Knife Supplies. Now, I want to say they're down in Georgia. Now, Pop's, that's where I get a lot of my 1085 round stock for my differentially hardened hunters and some of the Bowies and so forth. I had to put some padding down before I really got into things over there because I did not want to tear up, scratch a glass any more than what it is. So Admiral Steel is a place I get some of mine. New Jersey Steel Baron. New Jersey Steel Barons. That's usually where I will source my 80 CRV2. What else? Let's see. How about Admiral Steel, New Jersey Steel Baron, Pop's Knife Supplies. That's primarily where I get my steel. And then I've got a known steel versus one that I'm pretty sure. Now, on the recycled steels, I have a process that I go through on testing those. Majority of them, I'm going to have a really good idea about what that steel is, just because if it's been if it cut before, so blades, files, and so forth, you are likely to have something that can or will or already is a good cutting blade. springs. Springs would be another source, and I have used new and used trap springs before. Now that is not my favorite material, although people really like those knives, and I need to get some more because people really like those knives. It's kind of the matter of nostalgia. These people say, why do you make railroad spike knives? These knives are made from the Atlas Knife and Tool 1078 high carbon blades, or high carbon spikes. They're forged into blades. So this isn't an actual railroad spike. It just looks like one. And this means it's a fully functional piece and an awesome piece at that. And I was hoping Charles was going to be there. He was not. Alabama Damascus was, and I picked up some stock that they had donated for the auction, for the fundraiser. I did bid on some stuff, and I got a few things. And I will, one of them, I did get a Damascus blank that I will be finishing out. I usually don't finish out other, I usually don't finish out knives I did not make. But being it's Alabama Damascus, I know it's a high quality piece, and always glad to get a hold of some of Brad's material. So guys, here you go. There's that first one. This is a little longer blade, so you know, I kind of think about it. It's like, what do I picture the guy hunting with this? Was it a Remington model? You know, if you're carrying it, is it a Remington model 11? Are we looking at a classic side-by-side hammer gun or hammerless? There can always be a story. Always be a story with the piece that you create. And that's kind of how I match it up. You know, what do I carry for my general everyday carry, my knife for everyday use, and it does vary. It varies just a little bit. Okay, I got quite a few of these, so I think that's the route I'm going to go. Once more, I want to give a shout out to Iron Mountain Metalcraft, Robbie Bowman, Robbie and Tina. They're great people. Got to see William. I don't know William's last name, the Cherokee dude. He's a cool dude. And we got to talk about guitars and music, and we threw some, did some throwing. He was mostly watching the axe throwing portion of it. Let's see. I may want a different one like this. This one I did a little wider upswept blade, so hey, that'll work. That will work right there. But got to see a lot of our friends. We had a great time. Got to hang out with Bridget. And got to hang out with Jeff. We got to hang out with a lot of people we sometimes don't get to see otherwise. And always hear from, when you guys moving down here? When you getting out of Illinois? Well, we just got that tattoo shop up and going, and a few things like that. So as soon as it's time, I suppose. Oh, man, the green ones, I really like the green ones. Cheyenne's going to try getting a little darker green. We're going to see how that works. Cheyenne got a lot of attention with her handle material this year. And but everybody was still going, hey, where's your knives? Well, she has been that busy. Her demand has been that high. Check out that sticker right there. That's got a fine tip on it, actually false edge on the back. These are going to look real nice with these sheets. Everything is just absolutely amazing on them. And I'm going to have to open up the other side of my cabinet here. I said when I come back, one of two things are going to happen. I'm either going to have to make a lot of knives or I'm going to be restocking my shelves. Well, I'm restocking my shelves, but I got to make a lot of axes. I'm telling you that. That one right there, that one is absolutely awesome. Go with one of these wider sheaths. Coming up to the Classic American series, I was doing some experiments on designs, and some of them I did a little bit wider, and I gotta say I'm not unhappy with them by any means. I'm quite happy with them. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit all these on a shelf, so some of these may actually have to, well, I do know what I'm going to do. The predecessors, semi-prototypes, are going to go over here. Because that's going to give me just a little more room. It's a little more room with what I'm doing here. Okay. Slide these in just a bit closer. Every year at a knife show, you'll notice certain things like people going, hey, why isn't this selling like I think it should? Well, if everybody has the same knife concept, there's going to be more competition. Your blade styles can be slightly different. Your materials may be the same or different, but you essentially have competition because you have similar niche products. That'll work. So having some variation, like we had the Classic American series, we didn't have too many people with that, I'm just going to call it Puko design. Aside from what was in the Smoky Mountain Knife Works and being at that location, of course, people are there to buy knives. You have knife enthusiasts and so forth. Okay. I've got a trailing point right here. That one turned out pretty nice. Guys, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, be sure to do so because there's going to be more knife making videos coming up, as well as some just tutorials in general. Sure I want to fit. Yes, I will. little longer blades. Sometimes you got to go through and kind of figure out what does work for your knife, what fits best. Once more, really happy with the results from the Wicked Wax. Cheyenne bought me some Wicked Whiskers product while we were at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I tried it out. It was actually quite nice. Kind of tight squeeze on that last one, but I think I got them all in there. Yeah. Once more, big shout out to Robbie Bowman at Iron Mountain Metalcraft for hosting the dredge match, and for Smoky Mountain Knife Works for hosting that event. Man, what is next? I got more things in there. Like I said, I got to clean this up just a little bit, but let me show you what we got restocked so far. Classic American Series. Maybe I ought to call it the American Puko Series. American Puko Series. Maybe I'll do that. That's kind of what it's more. It's more of the American Pukos. Let me roll that one around. Okay. Sometimes restocking the shop can be a chore in itself, and I believe that's where I'm at. It is definitely a chore in itself. I got to figure out what my next builds are going to be. I've got a lot of requests for Warhammers, so I'm thinking some Warhammer builds could be the next step. I've got to restock on axes and tomahawks soon. So likely to see some of those builds coming in the future. Once more, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so. Like and subscribe, and yeah. Sheaths up there. Those are back in the case. Yay! Now only a whole bunch more to go. But guys, I'm really happy with the way this is turning out. I really am. Could not be much happier seeing all this, seeing the progress. Now, we had more than just knives and axes. We did have some forging hammers. We had some bottle openers. We had a lot of handle material. Cheyenne had some really cool handle material options. I'm going to toss that stuff right there. That was padded. This got a little bit of rust on it. Oh my. Actually, that's not rust. That's from the oil, where it had rust in the oil. So I'm just going to get these off the top of my case for now. We are greatly understocked. On some of our product right now, like the axes, because we just sold so many. Hope and Austin at Pappy's Castle, they've been running show circuit that we're not able to get to right now, and they have done a great job on moving product, doing advertising for Axon Main Forge and Memory. And want to give Pappy's Castle a big shout out, big thank you to them. I'm gonna have to go get more of these. Dentist appointment and just a few, so I want to keep this relatively short. Hope everyone had as good of a weekend as what we did. Yeah, it did get a little rainy down there in East Tennessee, but I'll tell you what, we had a good time. We had good friends, and it was just it was a great time overall. I did manage to get all this on here. I didn't know if I was going to be able to or not. Definitely going to have to go get some more of the acrylic stands because I'm running dangerously low. I don't know why it's dangerous, but it's dangerously low on it. Brown-Rhodes beadwork we're putting back in the case as well. We do auctions on Facebook Thursday and sometimes on Wednesday or Friday nights. Generally Thursday nights at 7:30 Central Time, and we usually feature some Brown-Rhodes beadwork on there. And what did I do? Should be some bracelets. There's some bracelets. The fun, the joys of having to go through and put things back in cabinets. All right. I'm going to try digging something out real quick because, like I said, I did bring back a few things. And I'll be doing some reviews on a few of those items. These are the axes. I did not sell, and this thing was crammed full. to get it down into Tennessee. It was quite an adventure the day before. We're heading down. We are going down. No question about it. I go to get my rental. They don't have it. The guy really had to pull some strings because there were some last minute changes. Still managed to get us a truck, which, like I said, we had it packed. And things went great. They really did. Oh, we did get some tongs and such. I also picked up a couple of cold steel tomahawks. Some I didn't have yet, and some are probably a little more practical than others. So this is the Weeping Heart tomahawk right here. This is, it's got a big wide blade. The heart cut out, I know why they do that. It's because it's reminiscent of some of the trade hawks and so forth. This thing is, I mean, pretty well blunt. But it has a blade on the back. That spike is a blade. And even though this is blunt, I bet I can stick it. Let's find out. I'm going to try to get in that top corner, so I'm going to move back just a little bit. It sticks. It's quite light, and the cutout, I'm concerned that it's going to affect the structural integrity of that. I would see a point to break right here. Not real thrilled about that. Now, how about that spike? Oh, I hit it on top. I was just slightly back. I have my glasses on here. All right, did she bite deep? I bet it did. It's more like a comma blade, really. I see potential issues there. Now, here's a spontoon tomahawk. I used to make tomahawks similar to these. Instead of having the pipe, it has a hammer pole. And then you've got this vicious hawk bill on it. And I am really hoping that's forged and not cast, but I kind of... No, it does look to be forged. There doesn't really appear to be any edges on this. It's just a tip. So I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this. One, being this long, it's wobbly and light. It does penetrate well. What this needs is a larger hammer face right here, because what you've got with a larger hammer face is a really badass warhammer. Clearly not for chopping wood, but a cool piece nonetheless. Guys, I got to hop off here. Guys, have a great one. Hope to see you back soon. We'll be doing some more live videos. Be sure to check out the videos, like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description. And hope you guys all have a great one. And if you're offended by me calling you guys, that's because what I usually call people isn't appropriate for polite company. Have a great one. We'll catch you in a few.